My stepsister pretended to be me in messages to my fiancé for 3 months, and used it to end my engagement. I found out 2 years later, when he messaged me out of nowhere to apologize. My name is Ivy. My stepsister's name is Renata. Our parents married when I was 20 and she was 22, so we never grew up together, never had the sibling closeness people assume. What we had instead was distance, and on her side, something closer to resentment I didn't understand until much later. I got engaged to a man named Soren when I was 26. We'd been together 4 years. Renata had met him a handful of times at family things, nothing more. I never had a reason to think about her when I thought about my relationship. About 3 months before the wedding, Soren started pulling away. Short replies, canceled plans, a distance I couldn't place. When I asked what was wrong, he'd say things back to me that I hadn't said, conversations I didn't remember having, plans I supposedly agreed to and then backed out of. I thought I was losing my mind a little. I apologized for things I couldn't recall doing, because he seemed so certain. 6 weeks before the wedding, he ended it. He said I'd become someone he didn't recognize, cold in texts, distant, sometimes cruel in ways that didn't match how I acted in person. I remember standing in my kitchen thinking none of what he described sounded like me, and still believing him over myself. Because why would he lie about something like that? I spent almost 2 years thinking I'd somehow changed without noticing. That stress had made me into someone worse. I didn't date. I barely talked to my family about it, including Renata, who was oddly gentle with me during that whole period, more present than usual, which I took as kindness. 2 months ago, Soren messaged me out of nowhere. He said he needed to tell me something he'd known for a while and hadn't had the courage to say. He said he'd found old messages on a backup of his phone, texts from the number he thought was mine during those last months, and the writing style was completely different from how I actually texted. He'd started asking around, quietly, and eventually asked Renata directly if she knew anything. She admitted it to him, not to me. She'd taken my phone one weekend I stayed at her place before the wedding, set up call forwarding and a messaging trick I still don't fully understand technically, and spent 3 months texting Soren as me, saying things designed to push him away. Cold responses, fake plans I never made, a version of me built specifically to make him leave. Soren sent me screenshots he'd saved, her actual number showing in the metadata behind a spoof display name, timestamps matching exactly to weekends I remembered as normal, uneventful weekends, while somewhere I was apparently telling my fiancé I didn't think I loved him anymore. I called Renata. She picked up like she knew this call was coming eventually. I asked her why. She said, flatly, that she thought I didn't deserve him, that I'd always gotten things easily and she wanted, just once, to be the reason something went differently for me. I told our parents everything, screenshots included. My mother cried reading them. My father asked Renata directly if it was true, and she didn't deny it, just repeated the same reason, like it explained anything. I'm not back with Soren. Too much time passed, and neither of us is the same. But I stopped apologizing for a version of myself that never existed. Renata isn't invited to family things anymore, not because anyone banned her, but because nobody, including our parents, has asked her to come.